interested in fashion, and why did you decide that, okay, I think I have a niche here? What was it that sparked that where you were like, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is my avenue?
Well, I always had a sense of style, but the way I approach fashion and style was always like kind of psychological. And I looked into how I would view a person, and that's how I kind of picked up like, oh, this is what they do and this is what they want. And so at 14 and 15, I worked in a mall, and I worked at 3 of the hottest stores in the mall, which brought a lot of talent and celebrity and, the big guys of the neighborhood and all of those things. And so it kind of brought me to a scope of this is where the money is. And it was that glitz glam, that beauty, that those baubles, and I wanted to be there. Did I know what it was called then? No. And at the time, I'm a 15-year-old dressing these 30-year-old men and their wives, and people are listening to me, and I'm dictating how someone feels. And for someone to be in that age where I am, just in high school, and you kind of don't know where your future is, you're dictating people's lives. And I had to realize that the control I had, and how can I make this a thing? And I think that's what we all do. Like, how can we make this one thing a bigger and broader scope? And went to school and interned and led my way here.
So really you got into it because you got into the high-end stores, and then the big guys are coming in, big women coming in to get the Louis, Gucci, whatever it may be.
See, it wasn't those stores. It was do you remember Iceberg, Aniche,
yeah.
Tommy Hilfiger, Jabot,
Carl
all of
Kanai.
those. And remember, all of those pieces were, a T-shirt is $220. A North Face jacket is $600. A Vans and an Avirex, those are $1,000 and $1,200. I'm selling 4 at a time easily, or I'm selling to a whole family with a matching head. And my manager is like, what is she telling them? Like, what else could she tell them? But it's the confidence I gave people, and it kind of leads me to where I am with my clients. And it's what I tell them is it's kind of just remaining themselves, and you give them that push. And that's kind of how I use a lot of my, I guess, formula today.
That makes a lot of sense, because I know, like, if I go in there to get like a belt, even just a store that I go in a lot, a good sales rep, they'll remember your name. Hey, Tommy, how are you? And then you start.
Like, now you're starting to talk to them, and now you're like, let me see that shirt.
Yeah.
All right. What you got new? Like, I believe you. I trust you. You know what? You were right. I went out last night and I did feel good. And so it was a lot of that. And my managers, every retail job I had, I always got promoted to manager within 2 weeks, because I was quick and I had the gift of gab. It was easy. I can always sell.
What was the shirt that came out? It was huge. I tried to get into the jeans, but they were a little bit too tight.
For who? What brand?
It starts with B. I bought the stupid T-shirt. It was like $600-$700.
Balmain?
Balmain. Mon, really? I've been calling it Balmain.
Yeah, French.
Yeah, okay. Remember the jeans with the pockets?
And
the T-shirt was like $600?
Yeah, they're still good. Olivier is amazing. He's now which is so crazy, full circle of everything, like one of my fashion friends now. So, I mean, they're just really amazing over there in everything they do. Mm-hmm.
See, and I can relate to that, because the lady will call me. She knows kind of like my style. I had a different company where I had to wear like a lot of suits and stuff like that. And we got the rapport like you're talking about. And she'd be like, hey, Tommy, we got this in. I think you like it, but we only got 1 pair.
Right.
Meanwhile, there's probably 20 back there.
It's a yes and no. So how it would go, and I'm just pulling back of just like working in stores, right? It would be 1 store for that region.
Yeah.
So it is. So it might be 6 in the world. That's about it. So yeah, they do technically would have 1, or they technically would have 2. What are you, like a 28 waist or something like that?
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, 28.
I like Paige.
Yeah.
You like Paige jeans?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I like Paige.
They're comfortable, right? And I got a wide foot. So if I'm gonna like wear like a dress shoe, it's got to be Gucci. Ferragamo kills my feet.
Really?
It's too narrow.
But Ferragamo goes wide.
I have a couple pair, but I have to have the guy put the thing in.
Oh,
you know, like they can put it in and then they turn it,
stretch it out,
and then I come in back in a week.
Ferragamo does really well with my athletes because they often are wide. Them and Allen Edmonds. That's another good one when you don't want to go so high. So those three, and sometimes, but not often, Tom Ford. If we're gonna stay high end, they would be good too. But honestly, I would tell everyday people go to Zappos.com and type in, but Allen Edmonds is the best one for like every day.
Is Louboutin for men's? Are they narrow?
It can be.
I always tried to get them, but they never had my size.
Yeah, they're narrow. What are you?
I'm a 6 in Euro.
Yeah.
Like in sneakers, like regular, like say like Adidas or Nike to run, I'm an 8.5.
8.5. Yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like I'm a 6.
Yeah, 39
Euro. Yeah, 39. Yeah, not like you don't know. You know what I mean?
No, it's I think over time, then that also was another thing. I know how to size people. Yeah. Easily, so I do like it's like a weird eye blue scan size, and I could get all of the things, and that's why I'm really good at size. It's creepy when people go, how you know? I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
It seems to me that that's like your niche, because you can look at somebody and say, hey, this looks good. Like, you obviously have a good personality. Like, we were joking around before you came in. I don't even know you. My friend Terry over here.
No, me and you, we're close.
I'm just bad. He's a good guy. But it's just interesting that, that's how everything started. You work at the store at a young age, you like it, you start to look at people and be like, hey, you could use this. And now these people aren't used to that.
Right. And they're not used to someone comforting them, because at the end of the day, it's money. And I always tell people, bottom line is money. Everybody wants it. And how can you, I guess, appease someone without trying to grab their pockets?
Right. And you go in, damn well.
Yeah, not saying I do that with my clients, but it's just even with corporations, at the end of the day, everybody has a bottom line. And what is that bottom line, and what is going to make it? And so I do it to where it's not selfishly looking like that, because it doesn't have to be that. You can be your own person, but in corporation world and their language, bottom line is the cash dollar, the green. And so if I understand that language and understand my client's language, I meet a happy medium for everybody. I'm easy to work with.
And that's how you got where you are. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good backstory, because, you go from 14-year-old girl at the store, figuring out, oh, well, this will look good. And then the person comes back and says, Kesha, thank you.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I looked flat. I looked really good last night.
Yep.
Right.
You make things easy.
And then it doesn't become a job anymore for you, because you love it. And then it's got to feel good when somebody comes in and says, hey, I felt really good last night, right? So then you evolve from that. So now you got this niche. So now you're done at the stores. Now, what's the next step?
The next step is, after stores, I ended up working in H&M showroom. And this is when H&M came into the States. So if we remember how it is, and I don't know if your listeners do, H&M was like the biggest boom of it all. We all shopped there. And every single person, you can't say that of course, today they're different and they're mainstream, but then it was like European culture coming here that never existed. And it was fast fashion and it was quick. I worked in their showroom. And so, again, with something like H&M, what it did was brought celebrities to that showroom, because that's what they wore. And I remember seeing a side, who's my friend to this day, which is so crazy, Eric Archibald. He was in there shopping for Mariah Carey.
Oh, shit.
And I remember just looking at this talent of what he's doing, but don't know what it's called, because he's just shopping and just grabbing things for whatever she needed it for. And I remember asking my boss, like, what is that called? He was like, oh, that's a fashion stylist. That's what they do. They just, buy stuff for people in music video. I didn't know that. I just thought it was a shopper, and to go into it and to understand the history and to go, oh, okay, I think that's what I want to do, because I don't want to make the clothes. It's already there. Why would I want to do that step? And so I went to Catherine Gibbs, which at the time was a trade school for fashion merchandising and design. And our internships were, everybody went to DKNY and Calvin Klein because they wanted to sew. But I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I would want to understand how to take clothes apart so I can understand seamstress language to get what I want, but I don't want to touch it. And I ended up going for an internship at Sony Records because I wanted to work under the creative department and not necessarily style. Got the job for 3 days, and the guy was like, "You do not fit here. This is not you. This isn't you. But I have somebody for you." And he sent me to this fashion agency, which who were their clients? LeBron, Chris Brown, Rihanna, you name it. All of those people were just
my favorite.
They were just coming out. They were brand new.
I love Chris.
This is like 2006, and they were the ones who they dictated their style, and so that's kind of where I started and where I assisted and just worked all through school for free. Just letting you guys know I did work for free. Worked for free and worked hard and long and kind of built myself up and made it here. Made relationships. I'm an easy person to get along with, I think. And yeah.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, H&M. Remember? Because they would bring everything over from Europe that we couldn't get here.
We couldn't get. And it was like, what is this? Yeah. And it's $9?
Yeah, and it looks totally different.
And it's totally different. It was good. Men, women, everyone, gowns, you name it. It was all there.
Listen to me, the best button downs with the suit,
we're there.
Like even today, like if I have to go, I still have a couple because I like Eaton and I like Zana a lot. But I'll tell you what, those H&M, like the slim fit button downs, at the time they're just as good.
At the time, they were just as good
now
as
they're
anything.
Shitty,
yeah, so bad. And and at that time when it was the H&Ms were coming in, what were we doing? Gap and J. Crew?
Yeah, it was Gap, J. Crew,
Banana Republic. We were
Tommy Bahamas.
Yeah, it was so boring to what we weren't used to, and I had my culture shock there. That was my culture reset to, wow, this is what. So then I move out of Queens and I move to Harlem. So now I'm in a whole different world from what I grew up in.
Yeah.
And my eyes are open, and now I'm willing to start this part, 19 at the time, start this part of my life to say, where is this journey going to take me? And that's where it was, 2006, and started there. Yeah, and now H&M is just copying all. They'll take. We don't even mention it anymore.
Balmain said that wrong. I know.
Yeah.
Now you see those jeans everywhere.
It's not the same as it was to have that first, and to experience that. And I started where a company of like such culture, they started that. And so it was just a blessing to even get there and them promoting me to work in the showroom.
Now, when you got basically fired from Sony, what made you not give up? How did you handle that? Because, you're 19 now, you're young. You're not fully developed yet.
Right,
you're still, emotional. And you're trying so hard. You
tell all your friends, oh my God, I work at Sony. Yeah. So this is my new job. Guess where I work? You want to know where I work? This is where I work.
Yeah, because I'd be like, oh, okay.
That's exactly what you would do.
Give me a couple new movies.
Then 3 days later, it's like, girl, you are like really headstrong on fact. This isn't for you. And it was this guy. His name was Courtney Lowry. Like to this day, I will always remember that. I remember going to an event because I also was like a little tiny 19-year-old social butterfly, and I'm going to this event and I see him. He already let me go, but I never met him. That's when you don't meet the big bosses and they let you go. You only know their names, but you can know what they look like, but they don't know you. And I saw him and I'm like, hey, I'm that intern you let go. And he was like, oh, yeah. He was like, I remember you. He was like, yeah, this wasn't for you. And he sat there and gave me, rather than brushing me off, he gave me the reasons why. And he was like, I see it in you. He was like, I see it in new talent that I sign every day. This just isn't for you. But I promise you where you're going is where you're going to go. And he sat there and gave me those words. And I remember going to the bathroom and crying and calling a friend like, someone actually believes in me. And he only let me go because he didn't want to hinder. I would have ended up back in a small box.